how can I stop a Kundalini awakening? Is it even possible? Let's be very clear, let's be very straight and to the point here. If we are talking about the actual Kundalini rising, the feeling you get, perhaps the disorientation that comes from it, if it happens to you and you are not prepared for this, can you cut the energy? Yes, you can, is the simple answer. And I'll explain how. Remember, if you are having a Kundalini awakening experience due to doing plant medicines because you're tripping, all I can say is good luck to you, because you don't have any control there. If you have just a general spontaneous awakening without any drugs, you can still find help to do it. But if you're on a trip and it happens, no one's going to be able to help you. Perhaps after you've come off the drugs and you've come down, then we could be talking. So how do we stop a Kundalini rising? This is the big question. Well, if you follow most people's advice saying, don't learn to control this, don't learn about it, just wait, and if it happens naturally, it happens naturally to you, and woohoo, hippy-dory, yes, way hey, good luck to you again, sorry, in controlling and cutting this. Because you haven't learned to control the energies. If you're doing this without any help, again, good luck to you. I'm not saying you can't do it, I'm saying good luck to you. Because, as with anything, use a teacher, use someone to instruct you, someone to help you. Be very careful who you choose, because some will say, I can help you make it rise, great. But if you want to cut it, can they cut it for you? Yeah, my experience is there. I've had risings in certain places that were inappropriate, being with people that in theory knew how to stop these things, and I can tell you, some say they can and have absolutely no idea. And I'm even talking about sort of big brand things. As I said, I go on many, many courses, and so, you know, if I have another rising experience, because although they say once you've had a rising, you are connected. Yes. And once you've had a full awakening, you're fully awakened. Yes, but it's like a tap. It can still open more and less, more and less. So it might not shut off, and this video is talking about how to shut it off. But it's, so if you go to events, if you go to, even though you've had an awakened Kundalini, it can awaken it more and more and more. And so I've been to these events like that. And people who in theory, yes, they had no idea how to disconnect the energy. Not a clue. So be very careful who you choose here. And there are some people who are exceedingly good at being able to cut these energies. Amazing channelers of energy. So how do we cut? If you're literally in the point of the rising, how do you cut it? Well, if you're doing this work with someone who knows what they are doing. Now, I'm not saying when they're going to cut it, it's going to go and it turns off like a switch. It doesn't quite happen like that, because we're talking about very, very powerful energy. But by working with someone who knows how to cut the energy, they can start to slow this down, slow the process gently. And you don't want a switch off because, no. But you want a slow, calming effect to bring it down slowly, gradually, perhaps over several hours, we're talking, this can take, and bring you down and disconnect. They're going to do this by some very powerful grounding techniques that you can't really do to yourself. They need to be done to you. Because if you're in this rising moment and you're saying, oh, I've got to start doing these things, you're not going to be able to do them. You need the help of someone else to do this. Okay, but that doesn't help me because I'm doing it by myself, or, you know, I'm not seeking help and I'm really strong-headed and I want to do it all by myself. And okay. One of the best ways to slow this down, and if this happens, do not be by yourself, do not be alone trying to do this. You will need help. You will need someone to hold your hand. And I'm talking literally hold your hand. One of the ways you can cut this is by giving your physical body enough shock that it has to focus its attention away from the energy rising, and this will cut it off. This is a very fine balance, because if we give it too much shock, the contrary can happen. It can send the Kundalini rising even faster, because everything will spiral out of control. So what am I talking about? So one of the best places to be able to cut a Kundalini rising would be at the beach with cool, cold water. So if you're in this situation, and yes, you could do this with a river. Yes, you could do this like with an ice bath, if you're not by the beach. So what you would do is literally with someone literally holding your hand, so you don't black out, you would go into the water, but you wouldn't dive in, you wouldn't submerge yourself fully. You would put your feet in. Your feet. Now you can see what I'm saying, someone hold your hand. Let your body get used to that cold. And then maybe go up to your calves, up to your knees, and slowly bring this. And perhaps you could even do this with a cold shower. Again, starting the shower on your feet. So someone else is helping you. Someone else is using the shower head. Really cold water on your feet, on your legs, bringing it up. Just bringing your senses back, grounding you, as it were. Obviously, water also washes away energy, makes it flow, but washes it away. And so bit by bit, slowly by slowly, and we're not talking doing this in a matter of 2 minutes. Oh, I put my feet in, now my legs, now my knees, now my upper legs, now my... No, I'm talking, this could take you 20 minutes, slowly putting your feet in the water, slowly, slowly, slowly. If you're at the beach, letting the waves just wash over you, slowly, slowly, slowly. So we're causing these sort of micro shocks in the body, always with someone there with you, to help cut this energy. Yeah, that is the simplest way to do it. Obviously, caution, this can also have the opposite effect. You know, if you do it too quickly, if the water's too cold, if the water's not cold enough, it's not going to work either. Don't go into heat, don't go into a sauna. That'll just blow the Kundalini right out, even worse. So using the cold, going slowly over like at least 20 minutes, perhaps even an hour. Someone holding your hand every step of the way in case the shock. Now, if someone asks me, what is the temperature of water that I need? I can't answer that, because I can go in the sea and think it's warm. And the person next to me won't go in the water because they'll say, oh, that's freezing cold. So it's not a specific temperature. It's in relation to you. This is why, for example, in a shower, if you have cold enough water coming out of the tap, it's useful because you can control, okay, yeah, I'm feeling that, it's nice, no, make it a bit colder. Okay, that's now cold. And as you come up the legs and you get used to it, okay, that's not cold anymore. You can make it a little bit colder. You see what I mean? And that is a way you can cut in the moment of Kundalini rising. That is the way you can cut it. A more gentle way to cut it is simply going outside. It's not as effective, but it does work. Going outside, getting your feet on the ground, on the natural earth, grounding yourself, sitting down, drinking some cool water, eating something very, very slowly. Again, the cutting of the energy isn't going to be a switch. It's going to work over 20 minutes, 2 hours, but you can cut it. With this said, that is literally cutting the powerful energy whilst it's in your system, cutting it off. Does this mean that if you cut it off, it's not going to happen again to you? If you stay extremely grounded, so if you're aware that this is happening to you and you don't like it and you live in fear of it, then what you would have to do is be as grounded as you can for as long as you can. Now, this could mean almost like living with no shoes on for like 2 weeks, 2 months, until you're fully grounded. Walking everywhere, or as much as you possibly can, where the law allows you to walk around barefoot, to be grounded, to be eating very whole natural foods, very grounding foods. Yeah. So people say eat whole foods to lighten your system and so the energy can rise in you. That's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm saying eat those same foods to ground you. It's like when people say you must be vegetarian for a Kundalini awakening. Really? Yeah, no you don't. It can help people whose constitution and digestive system works better with a vegetarian, fruitarian diet. For those whose constitution, they actually feel lighter and better with a paleo-style diet. They don't actually need to have a vegetarian diet. One thing that will work against it is processed foods. So you could say, okay, well, if I start shoving rubbish down my throat, lots of processed foods, will that cut the Kundalini? Okay, it's possible. If you really want to stick huge amounts of basically poisons in your body and try and do that, it's not really the healthiest way to go about it. And I'm not saying that will happen. I'm not saying that won't happen. I'm saying I'm not going to test that. But eating those wholesome, natural, grounding foods will help you stay low. If you're consciously keeping it down, if you're barefoot, if you're, yep. But that's going to have to be a very conscious process for a very long time. You also, because what I'm saying is, once you've had one rising, there is a huge possibility that, especially if you cut it, it's going to happen again. Now, it going to happen again doesn't mean to say within the next 2 hours. It doesn't mean to say within the next 2 days. It could be 2 months down the road. It could be 2 years down the road. But once it's started to happen, it can go again and again and again and again. So if it's happened to you and you didn't like it, The best advice I can give you is go seek help. Go and learn internal alchemy. Yes, just like the course that I offer, but it doesn't have to be me. It's anyone who knows what they're talking about. Go learn internal alchemy. Go learn internal energy control so you can control it, whether to stop it happening or whether to learn to have the control to lose the fear, to raise it on purpose. Which is the more sensible thing? Be fighting against it for the rest of your life, or to accept that it's happening to you and control it? Hope you liked the video. Leave comments, subscribe to the channel for more information, hit that notifications button, join a course, join a session. See you in another video.